Hey Harry, how do you practice? You've improved so quickly. I have a limited amount of time to practice speedcubing during school weeks. On the weekdays, sometimes I get like no practice done at all, maybe just the odd solves here and there, but sometimes none at all. But on the weekends, I usually cube for hours on it. However, on the weekdays, like every now and then, I do get the odd hour or so to practice speedcubing. Sure, just doing solve after solve after solve mindlessly will be slightly beneficial, but I eventually will plateau, and I've seen many other cubers who just grind and solve plateau as well. In other words, could there be a more effective way to practice speedcubing, especially in a shorter amount of time? In other activities in sports, practice schedules, however the hell you want to say it, are pretty common and provide a framework of practice, especially when time is limited. Let's take practicing piano. Usually warming up with some sort of scales or finger exercises is a good way to start, and then maybe some sight reading. And then you go into some repertoire. This got me thinking, what potential practice schedules could be used in speedcubing and speedcubing practice? I have devised a high quality 1 hour, 2 hour and 3 hour schedule. The latter two will come in video form in I don't know, some point in the future. However, I've got the 1 hour one for you right now. I'm currently using this when I get the spare hour or so in the weekday, and I think it's proving quite effective in dropping my times, and I've gotten quite a few very good singles and nice averages within the hour framework. This schedule is made with a 3x3 as the main event, but could be swapped out with some other event, I don't know, clock or something. Why would you practice clock? I spend the first 10 to 15 minutes doing some sort of cubing exercises or cubing warm-ups, similar to like playing the scales on the piano before starting to play actual music. This is a simple way to warm up the hands before you start to do a proper session. Some exercises can include just OLL and PLL drills, just with CS timer or whatever timer applications you use. I recommend bestsiteever.ru. They have and Taoyu's Alg Trainer website for just doing some spammy algs and just timing how fast you can get them. Some other ones include PLL time attacks, doing all PLLs at once and just timing those, and on-time solves, which can just be a nice way to practice the look ahead and just warm your hands up slowly if you're in that type of mood. And X-look solves, a little card in the corner somewhere to Felix's video on that. I find having a microwavable heat pack with me to be quite nice, and on cold days, as cubing with cold hands is not only painful, it's also a sin. After the 10 to 15 minutes of cubing warm-up, I get into proper time practice. These solves are focused solves for around 30 to 40 minutes. I try to maintain focus on the actual steps of my solve and realigning myself every time I start to lose focus. As when I lose focus, my times tend to drop. Especially within such a short time frame, it's important to keep your focus and make sure you're looking at every single aspect of your solve and making sure you correct any mistakes that you do during your solve. This type of practice is important for implementing new algs or new F2L inserts or new block building techniques that you may have learned just by watching YouTube or whatever. When solving, it's important to properly focus and not just mindlessly solve. Mindless solves can be useful sometimes, maybe if you're leading up to a competition and you're just wanting to be able to solve without having to think. But when you're learning new material and you're trying to implement it into solves, it requires a bit more focus, and if you're not focusing, it probably won't work. Using a timer with inspection turned on is quite useful if you're trying to simulate a comp situation, if that's what you are into. I try to use a stack mat and a cube cover when possible, and also having either music or crowd noises turned on at the same time, just to have white noise in my ears when practicing. Simulating a comp environment during this short amount of time can be helpful if you plan to go to a competition, so you are used to a somewhat competition environment. Sometimes instead of just doing a single event for the entire duration of the 30 to 40 minutes of focused solves, perhaps splitting the time into 2 events can help to renew focus, especially if focus starts to dwindle after 20 minutes or so. Finally, after that block of proper focused solves, I try to learn a new alg or two within the last 10 to 15 minutes of my practice. Whether it be a 2x2 CLL alg or some ZBLL, I think it's a nice way to round off and finish the cubing session, where then later on, if I get a chance with the cube for like a couple seconds, I can then practice that alg. And then for the next session, I can implement that alg into my actual solves. I have some 2-hour and 3-hour cubing practice schedule videos coming, so if you'd like to see, yeah. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe, etc. I guess. Goodbye.